You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Snow day.
There's snow day like a snow day.
There's snow business like snow business.
Business?
I don't know. I was like, there's snow. Yeah, I was trying that old song.
Yeah.
There's no business
I think I
like
threw
show
you
business.
off by talking as early as I did. Sorry about that.
It did shake me a little.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa. Normally he just stares at me and sees how big of a hole I will dig for myself. And then instead you like tried to stop me from digging the hole, and then I was like, no, bring me a bigger shovel.
I hope our audio is working.
I hope so
It
too.
is.
Okay, good.
Oh, we got lots of stuff. Dude, the
So
local
much.
sports roundup is massive.
Yeah.
Then we have fun stuff for our third period of the show. We've got great Spivey Athletes of the Week to get to. And I think there's a football game next week. Is that a
No, the football season's been over for quite a while, Daniel.
Like European football or American football?
Is that what it is? I've just been hearing people say something about some game next week.
It's like chefs versus, how did the mayor spell it? EGLSES or something like that?
Wait, what?
Did you not see that?
No, I
clip?
did. I missed that one.
There was I think it was the Philly mayor, this lady, and she was like giving a big, like outdoor speech.
You know, like a rally
And
type
she was trying to get everyone to spell Eagles with her, and
Oh,
she
no.
spelled it so bad.
Did she go like E-gel?
It was like, it was something
Did she go like that? That'd be pretty
It was
bad.
something like ELGSES or something like that. Like
Wow.
just super wrong.
Let's go Elgas.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was.
I like
really
the
bad.
Elgas. The Elgas sound to get fun.
It
Dude,
reminded me
I'd
of
root for the Elgas.
the clip of I don't remember, it was like a city councilwoman or something from Miami when they were doing this big presentation to honor Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
And she introduced him as Wade Jones. Like, I just love it when the politician like proves that they actually have no idea what is going on outside of their
Especially-
little world.
Especially if they're like, my favorite player,
Yeah.
Wade Jones.
It was something like that. She explained it later as like, oh, I really do love Dwayne Wade, but I have a lawyer named Wade Jones, and I just got caught up in the air or something like that.
Right. I have a lawyer named Wade Jones. I bet your lawyer told you to say that. It is snowing, by the way. Like, if you're in Grace Harbor right now, you're like, yeah, there's snow. We're out in the middle of nowhere where Andrew lives. Apparently Grace Harbor, but there's signs that like switch back and forth on your way to get here. It's kind of confusing. It is freaking dumping out there, man. I'm not going to make it home. I hope my wife's watching. This is a possibility. Holy smokes. And Andrew's just over there quaffing. Did you realize? I heard him quaff. It's quaff when you splash.
Quaffing gets your ears wet, Daniel.
Ah, okay. I heard
gotta
you
stop.
dealing with some foam over there, and
Oh,
I was
sorry.
like,
I'm sorry.
I was like, is that a quaff? So that's why I brought it up. So quaffing gets your ears wet,
I need you to stop saying that word.
wet, or quaffing,
Yeah, that.
wet quaffing. Do you know what a quaff is?
I do now. I didn't know before.
That it's a Terry Pratchett joke that quaffing is like drinking, but you get your ears wet.
Holy crap, it's a blizzard outside.
Yeah, dude, I'm not joking. Like,
No, Justin, Daniel and I have seen a blizzard.
that's true.
You can see through this.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
One time when I was a teenager, I was in Montana with my family, and
man.
there was such a huge blizzard, there were 4-foot snowdrifts. And we were in a hotel, and some guy had a heart attack while he was trying to shovel
That's
snow.
not good.
Oh, that's
Anyway, there was no point to that story. I just wanted to share it. And I jumped out of a window.
what?
Into the 4-foot drift of snow.
We were on
okay.
the second floor of our
On the second snore?
second snore
Okay.
of our hotel, and my dad, I said something about wanting to jump out the window.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, 15 feet maybe. And my mom was like, no, don't do it. That's scary. And my dad was like, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
He'll be too scared. And then I did it. And then my mom was furious at my dad.
I love this story.
Yeah. Because it turns out that after we shoveled some snow down there, where I landed was like 2 feet away from a fire hydrant.
Oh.
So it is possible I could have landed on a fire hydrant.
Did you
then
go, like-
who knows whether I would have had any children.
Did you go butt first, or did you like land on your feet?
I went feet first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And by the time I landed, it was like snow up to my nipples.
Nice.
Yeah. Most people would have said chest.
But you went.
I went
You
nipples.
went very specific.
It's because I just watched a Duke basketball game, and they have a guy named Con.
Nipples?
His name is Con Knipple.
Oh,
And
good
so
old Con Knips.
Every time they said his name out loud, my daughter laughed.
Nipples is a funny word.
Yeah.
Dude, it's. Wow.
Can we just talk about how much it's snowing right now? Can that be the whole rest of the show?
I
It's
wish
snowing a lot.
Okay, I know I'm joking around, but I'm legitimately worried that I might not make it home.
It has dropped 5 degrees since you got here.
We've been here for 10
You've only
minutes.
been there, yeah, I know. It got really cold really quick.
Oh, shoot.
And then started
Let's make sure we get this show done before we have to worry about any darkness.
I'm scared that I'm not gonna make it home. I'm like
know,
not
you-
actually scared, like
You being scared makes me scared because
I'm
you're
driving. Well, if I had my Subaru, I'd be like, we're fine.
That does sound
But-
like you.
Yeah. But I drive a Buick now.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
That doesn't look like a Buick. Sorry, have you seen those commercials? Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh. Apparently Buick came out with like a new line a couple years ago that looks really different from like the big old style Buicks.
Okay, gotcha.
And so their idea was to have a really like squeaky, screeching old lady see a Buick and go, that doesn't look like a Buick, and that would maybe make people want to buy them.
So their branding is, our cars used to look dumb.
Now they look cool.
Now they don't look like what we say they are.
Yes.
Whoa, what a tangled web we weave.
Yeah.
Let's weave it some more with a local sports roundup. Last week, Aberdeen hosted the SWW Coop at the YMCA of Grace
Probably
Harbor.
co-op?
Oh, yeah, I guess that dash is in there for a reason. At the YMCA of Grace Harbor for its final home dual meet of the season. Early in the meet, Aberdeen honored its senior swimmers Denny Linker and Jacob Halleck. Aberdeen registered 4 wins on the day against Hawkinson, 75 and 68. Seton Catholic, 91 and 51. Washougal, 94 and 37. And Ridgefield, 96 and 15. To keep this short, I'm Ron Burgundy. To keep this short, Denny and Jacob are 2 solid young men who have been the foundation of this program for the past 4 years, according to head coach Rob Burns. It has been an honor to be their coach. They're going to be successful on deck and in life. For the meet, this was a great day for the Bobcats, who were strong all meet. They are a great group of swimmers and will be competing with them in the postseason.
The SWW Co-op are a great group of swimmers. That's who they were swimming against.
Thank you.
It says that in the first sentence.
Right.
I think the parentheses confused them.
Well,
I
also
think
that it
so,
was the
probably.
and not they.
Well, it's because the
It was-
SWW co-op.
Oh, gotcha. But normally when you have parentheses,
Your
it's because there was a
argument is with
they.
Rob
This
here.
Sorry.
This is a stylistic way to do a quote. It's an AP style thing. This is actually correct. the way you did it.
No, it would be
I wanna
correct
put
if
out
it was
there that
they.
I am not going to argue AP style with Daniel.
Unless it was the co-op parentheses, but since it's the, if it was they, then the parentheses would have nailed it. But since it was a the, that's what threw me off.
The SWW co-op that's in the parentheses
Yes.
replaces whatever word was there, and it's for clarification. So he could have said, the team are a great group of swimmers or whatever.
Or the group.
The group, yeah. But also, this is Rob sending us his own quote. So it's
And
not
it
like
was
he was taking someone else's quote and clarifying it. He just sent it to us this way. By the way,
I'm grateful that he sent it, but I'm also going to assume that he sent it quickly.
I think he did it right.
So why would, if it's his own quote, that is not him.
Here's a better question. We've known Rob Burns for a long time. You called him Rod? I think Rod Burns is a really different person. I think
So different.
Rod Burns rides a motorcycle.
Rod Burns rides a motorcycle, has the biggest chops you've ever
he does.
seen,
Yeah.
and he likes to do stunts, if you know what I mean, around the bonfire. Yeah, let's go. I'm Rod Burns. Sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry, Rob. I've butchered this multiple times.
I'll take 50%
The
of the
Bobcats,
responsibility.
the Bobcats picked up 7 overall wins on the day, including 2 relay wins, 200 medley with Halleck, Cole Nylander, Zeke Olsen, and Linker, and the 400 free, Cooper Gill, Tyson Powell, Emmett Johnson, and Isaac Armenta.
Then this week, the Aberdeen swimmers and divers hit the road for their final regular season invitational on Saturday, the Southwest Washington Invitational at Mark Morris High School. Aberdeen took 4th overall on the day, led by Jacob Halleck's 3rd place finish in the 200-yard individual medley and Zeke Olsen's 4th place finish in the 100-yard butterfly. Rob Burns says, we came into the meet amid our preparations for the postseason. That said, the boys competed well and came away with strong swims. On Saturday, Aberdeen's 2 divers, Zeke Olsen and Micah Schroeder, will travel to Auburn to take part in the District 3 3A Diving Championships to compete for a State 2A meet berth.
My wife said, hey, if you're worried about the snow, do a quick show. And then as I was butchering that last write-up, she says, this doesn't make for a quick show.
Snow show.
A pair of Elma boys wrestlers won their weight class at the King and Langhoff Memorial last Saturday at La Jolla. Jordan Meadows won the 106-pound title, and Xavier Espinoza won the 120. At the same meet, 2 Aberdeen wrestlers, Michael Hatton and Landon Hamblin, each earned a 2nd place finish. Elma's Blaze Salazar and Aberdeen's Glennie Black and Ryder Lassard each placed 3rd.
Also last Saturday, Montesano placed 2nd as a team at the King of the Mountain tournament in Auburn. Finley Eckerson won the 106-pound weight class for the Bulldogs. Adam Schmitz won 113, and Gage Stutzman won 165. Cole Kesbu took 2nd at 144, and Ben Howard, Gabriel Paihala, and Felix Romero each placed 4th in their respective weight classes.
3 local wrestlers earned weight class titles at the Rubber Chicken. Such a weird wrestling match. Last Saturday night in Kalama. I just really wanted to emphasize that Rubber
pro
Chicken.
wrestler voice in parentheses in there.
I may have done that, yes.
Yeah, but you didn't read it out loud.
Because I knew it was coming because I did it. Hoquiam's Kingston Case and Oliver Bryson took 1st in the 150 and 190 class, respectively. And Willapa Valley's Lucas Swagger had some swagger and swung the 157. Nah, I'm just kidding. He won 157. Hoquiam's Junior Soto placed 2nd at 120, and Elma's Colin Chandler took 3rd at 113. Elma's Liam McManus and Donovan Kalakowski each took 4th place.
We are off to a weird start. Aberdeen defeated Hoquiam in a dual wrestling meet last Friday, 49-22. Each team won 5 head-to-head matches, but the Bobcats claimed victory due to 4 wins via forfeit. For Hoquiam, Cruz Ortiz Cruz, Junior Soto, Burton Chavis, Kingston Case, and Oliver Bryson each won a head-to-head match. And for Aberdeen, Trevin Stewart, Adonis Hammonds, Glennie Black, Gio Warnes, and Ryder Lassard won.
Elma's boys basketball team beat Rainier at home on Monday, 48-33. Isaac McGaffey led the Eagles with 19 points and pulled down 9 rebounds. Trayden Carter added 18 points and 7 boards for the Eagles, while Theo Flores dished out 5 assists. Elma improved to 4-3 in league play on Thursday with a 66-54 home win over Hoquiam. Isaac McGaffey and Trayden Carter teamed up to hold Hoquiam's leading scorer Lincoln Nemi to just 3 points in the contest, while also also shining on offense. McGaffey recorded 23 points and 7 rebounds and 4 blocks, while Carter added 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Eagle senior Armani Fan added 12 points on senior night. Riker Maxfield led the Grizzlies with a personal best 20 points, while Joey Bozic added 15.
Hoquiam shook up the league standings on Tuesday with a 64-58 home win over Tenino. Lincoln Nemi led all scorers with 19 points and added 10 rebounds and 3 assists. Joey Bozic recorded 16 points, 7 boards, and 2 assists for Hoquiam, and Riker Maxfield chipped in 13 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Man, Maxfield has really been playing well lately. The Grizzlies now are 2-5 in league play and will face Aberdeen in a non-leaguer on Monday before wrapping up their league season at home against Rochester on Tuesday.
If they can get 3 guys in double figures consistently, that'd be big.
Maxfield's going to be a big part of that.
Yeah. Despite a rough fourth quarter, Montesano held on to beat Rochester 58-52 on Tuesday in Monty. Mason Fry led Monty with 19 points while also recording 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 assists. Caden Grubb added 13 points and a team best 16 boards.
That's a lot.
The Bulldogs are now 6-1 in league play and can earn the undisputed league title with a win over Elma on Tuesday.
Aberdeen lost the boys basketball game at Shelton Monday, 53-43. That's a big one because they're fighting with Shelton in the standings there.
No.
Isaac Garcia led the Bobcats with 11 points and 8 rebounds in the loss. Aberdeen lost again on Thursday, 66-49 at home to WF West. Zanto Rea led the Bobcats with 17 points.
Oh, my guy.
5 steals.
Yes.
Aberdeen capped its week with a 51-41 non-league win over Montesano. The Bobcats pulled away in the third quarter with a 14-0 run. Jacob Cusada led Aberdeen with 16 points, including 4 3-pointers, while Riker Scott added 12 points and Garcia chipped in 11. Cusada also led the Bobcats with 5 rebounds, while Garcia and Reyes swiped 4 steals apiece. Caden Grubb scored 14 points for Monty, while Mason Fry added 12, and Colton Grubb chipped in 10.
Raymond South Bend boys basketball won at North Beach on Wednesday, 87-59 for Ravens.
87 points.
That's a lot of points. I was going to say 4 Ravens sounds like a casino. 4 Ravens scored in double figures, led by Chris Quintana's 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Tanner Morris recorded a double-dub for RSB with 14 points and 16 boards, while Isaac Schluter added 12 points and Chris Bank 11.
Willapa Valley's boys basketball team remained unbeaten in the One-Beat Coastal League with a 72-51 home win over Nacelle on Tuesday. Blaine King led the Vikings with 25 points, while Brody Ost added 16 points and 9 rebounds. Nathan Fluke chipped in 12 points for Valley.
Montesano's girls basketball team earned a decisive 59-11 win at Rochester on Wednesday, improving to 7-0 in league play. Jilly Dalen and Ava Schrader scored 16 and 14 points respectively for the Bulldogs. Schrader led Monty with 9 rebounds, and Dalen swiped a team best 6 steals. Teandra Olsen had added 9 points, 5 boards, and 5 steals. Your typical Teandra Olsen night.
Hoquiam picked up a pair of league wins this week and locked up second place in the league standings. The Grizzlies beat Tenino at home on Wednesday 46-21. Sydney Gordon recorded 14 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block, while Aaliyah Kennedy had 14 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and a block. Whew. On Friday, Hoquiam beat Elma 44-6.
Yikes!
Not a typo.
Yo!
The Eagles did not make a shot from the field.
Ooh.
Aaliyah Kennedy had a great game. I do have those stats, but I don't have them handy. We'll talk about that when we do Athlete of the Week nominees.
It just says Kennedy.
I was going to type it in, and then I didn't.
Raymond South Bend's girls basketball team won a home game against North Beach 78-17. Whew. On Tuesday, Cassie Koski helped RSB get an early 29-4 lead with 16 points in the first quarter.
That's a lot.
That's more than most of the boys' teams I've seen this year in their first quarters as a team.
That's so true.
Koski finished the game with 19 points, 9 steals, and 4 assists. Evelyn Stigal added 17 points for the Ravens. Ava Bauer chipped in 12, and Maddie San scored 10. RSB kept it rolling on Thursday with a 73-43 win at Chef Leshai.
Chef?
Well, it's the Chefs are playing this upcoming weekend, so Chef Leshai. Koski racked up 32 points, including 8 three-pointers.
That's a lot.
While swiping a team-high 6 steals.
Also a lot.
Stickle chipped in 14 points, while Megan Kangbukai added 4 steals and 13 assists. I don't know why I always...
13 assists is a crazy amount for a high school game.
That's bonkers. Also, why do I say added instead of had, 75% of the time when I'm reading these? Have you noticed that?
No.
No.
You just do you, buddy.
Yeah.
Ocosta's boys basketball team clipped Tahola on Tuesday 67-64 to improve to 5-1 in 1B Coastal League play. Jesus Agramon led the Wildcats with 27 points and 6 assists. Sonny Beard added a double-double for Acosta with 17 points and 11 rebounds. Peyton Vitalis scored a game-high 32 points for the Chitwins.
I'd say that's pretty Vitalis to his team. Willapa Valley's...
Oh, gosh.
Willapa Valley's girls basketball team won at Nacelle 44-29 on Monday. Tyler Keaton had 18 points, 21 rebounds, and 3 blocks for the Vikings. And Lauren Matlock added 12 points and 3 steals. 21 rebounds!
Yeah, I think Tyler Keaton's a sophomore.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for the local sports roundup. I have noticed that the snow has slowed down.
The snow is
We
slowed?
only added about a quarter inch.
Is it
You're
slow
probably
snow?
safe.
Slow snow?
I mean, there's an accumulation of snow on the car that you literally parked 30 minutes ago.
That's intense.
But it's not a lot.
Yeah,
It's not a
okay.
lot. So I think we're okay.
We'll make
I think
it
if there's one thing that's really important to discuss a little further out of the local sports roundup, it's what other things we picture about Rod Burns.
I thought you were going to say it's about how the snow is happening.
I think Rod Burns
Yeah.
doesn't wear a leather jacket, but he wears a leather vest.
Oh, my guy. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Rod Burns doesn't ever go with 1 thumbs up.
Yeah.
He always goes with 2 thumbs up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I also think that Rod Burns frequents the watering hole called the Rusty Nail.
Oh, or the
he's-
Northwest Passage.
He's hanging out at a bar called the Rusty Nail or Northwest Passage. One of those. That's Rod Burns. He's got a
Yeah.
big chopper, not a helicopter, but like a bike,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of noise.
Yep.
Is that what a chopper is?
I think so.
Or is it the ones with the big tire in the front?
I
think
think a
it-
chopper is the one with the long forks. So,
Oh, yeah.
But-
So you can reach your food further away.
yeah.
Like if I had a long fork, whatever food Daniel had in front of him right now, I could steal some.
As long as Daniel didn't have a long knife.
Yeah, good point.
Okay, so yeah, and I think Andrew nailed it. So what I'm assuming what he means by long forks is like
The front part
the
of the
front
bike.
part like
This is
sticks out long.
What he means by long forks is probably what the actual thing is called.
Also, long forks sounds like it's like an old name from Scotland, like Longshanks.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, instead of the Rusty Nail, maybe the bar is called Long Forks.
Long Forks Tavern.
Francis says that Rod Burns mows in a sleeveless tee and cut off jorts.
Oh,
Weird, because
Good call.
doesn't everybody mow like that?
so a sleeveless tee with a leather vest and jorts, but like not
Yeah.
the cut off ones that it's like they're like jagged, like
Yeah.
it looks like you literally cut it.
Yeah, he didn't buy him
ripped
cut
it
off.
He ripped it.
He got a big hole in one of his jeans and was like, "Got me a new
Yeah.
pair of shorts."
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Early in the show, Royal Guy says, "Good thing you didn't go butt first when you were doing the jump into the
That's
snow."
a good point.
And then Francis says, "Shami with the haircut, hubba hubba." And then he also says, "Yeah,
It's just that I'm always
He says
wearing a
Rod
hat.
Burns is a big finger guns guy.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah.
I think instead of the thumbs up, like I said, I think the finger guns.
You were doing Fonzie.
Yeah, that's right. I was
Hey.
Fonzie. But I think
Rod Burns' office is a bathroom. Sorry, sticking with Fonzie. Rod Burns jumps over a pool of water with a shark in it with his motorcycle.
Jump the shark.
I'm just doing more Fonzie.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Francis wants you to know that frayed is the adjective you were looking for there, Justin.
What did you say? Jagged?
Yeah.
Jagged.
Rod Burns.
When Rod Burns cuts it, though, it's jagged and frayed.
Yes. Rod Burns has a tattoo of Roy Orbison on his right butt cheek.
Are you still going with the Fonzie stuff?
It's Henry Winkler from Waterboy. So, yeah. You've been playing the foosball behind my back?
Not the foosball. Do we want to take a break now or later?
I don't know. Have we done anything productive in this show?
We read
Not
a bunch of
usually.
stuff which I consistently botched through like the entire local sports roundup.
I think you did a great job.
But especially when I said that kid was Vitalis to his team.
That was so good. There's something about it that it's like, it makes me shake my head, but I also want it in my life.
I thought you were literally gonna leave.
No.
I thought you
like,
were just gonna walk out.
It's the kind of thing that's like, I'm gonna look downcast, but I'll miss it if it's gone.
Okay.
So
Good to know.
I need it. Appreciate it.
Did you get to any games this week?
No, I watched some of the Aberdeen Monty boys game,
Right.
and listened to a little bit of your broadcasts, but I couldn't get the online stream to work. So,
It was broken.
and then the other thing was they put I have NFHS network, so I should have been able to watch the whole game,
Right.
but somebody had input the time incorrectly, so it
That's
didn't
great.
start.
Wow.
It didn't start the broadcast until like midway through the third quarter.
Oh, that's brutal.
So I kind of got to watch the end, but also the camera that's supposed to be pointed at the scoreboard was pointed at a random spot on the wall. So I was watching the game, not being able to listen to you because I don't have a radio
Right.
except in my car,
Right.
and not having any idea what the score was, but also watching it
It's gotta
going,
be super weird.
I'm pretty sure Aberdeen's winning right now.
Gotcha. So it must have been in the third quarter then.
Yeah, it was the third quarter.
Because most of it looked pretty even except for that third quarter when they
Yeah.
just went off.
Yeah.
But it was a fun game. That big third quarter did like ruin my streak of like really tight games. Like I've had some killer broadcasts this year. I'm gonna blame Rick Anderson because
Oh, Rick.
after the halftime he was like, "Oh, looks like we got another really close game. Your record's great." And then Aberdeen went on a run, so it's his fault.
Yeah. I should look a little deeper into what the playoff scenarios are for Aberdeen. I know in their I don't know how many teams go to districts from their league.
That's what I was wondering, but they're in jeopardy.
Black Hills has one league loss. They're in first place. Tumwater has 2. They're in second place. WF West has 3. They're in third place. And then it's Aberdeen and Shelton. And I think they have the same record right now, and they split with each other. And Centralia at the bottom, and they just stink, and everyone beats them. So I don't know what it like. Typically in these district tournaments, 4 teams go.
Centralia must really miss Rochester.
For leagues these size. Yeah, I think it makes the most sense that 4 teams would go, but I don't know the tiebreaker scenarios. And also, a lot of times, if it's seeding, they use the tiebreaker scenarios. But if it's a matter of whether you get a playoff spot or not, they play a pigtail game.
Yeah.
But the only 2 games I believe left, the 2 league games Aberdeen has left, are Tumwater and Black Hills. So they need to go. If they go win one of those 2 games against the first and second place team, they'll be the 4th seed.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they're tied with Shelton.
And like everybody knows Max Preps is
Unreliable?
Grain of salt.
Yeah.
Right. So right now they're listed under Shelton.
Yeah.
But they have the same record at 3-5.
There's so many types, like some, and they change every year. That's the hard part. Is you used to be able to go to the league websites,
Yes.
and find the standard operating procedure.
Yep.
And then that would give you like, here's the 5 tiebreaker criteria.
Yeah.
And you could easily go boom, boom, boom. Okay, I know who it is. Now those league websites are pretty much gone, and they're not
It's
updated.
so sad. They were so awesome.
They were so good. They were hard to find
Yes.
if you didn't know where to look. But for
Yep.
people who were covering the sports, they were really good. But I know tiebreaker criteria has been something that's gotten really confusing over the years because it's constantly changing, and then communication is not good about what it is. So there's been a few times that we've been told, oh, no, the tiebreaker criteria is this by someone we thought should know, and then found out later that was wrong.
Exactly.
So I don't want to say definitively what Aberdeen's fate is, especially because they still have 2 league games left, but they might be on the edge of whether or not they make the district tournament.
Yeah. Who's Shelton play? Because let's see, what's their schedule? Oh no, they just played Centralia. Yeah. Okay, so they played WF West and Tumwater.
Well, so Aberdeen and Shelton both have 3 league wins. So I'm going to assume they both beat Centralia twice, and then they both
split
beat each other once.
Yeah.
So I know Aberdeen has the toughest possible schedule remaining.
Yep.
Because they play Tumwater and Black Hills.
Right.
And then WF West is 3rd. So I don't know what Shelton has remaining on the schedule, but both of those teams should be playing only teams ahead of them from here on out.
Yep, that's the case.
And it's been like for Aberdeen, because their schedule was so light before winter break.
Dude, Shelton has played a weird season, man.
Yeah.
Because they've been bad.
Yeah.
But also they have a 2-point loss to Black Hills.
That's weird.
Right? They lost 43-41 at Black Hills.
That's weird.
And then they only beat Centralia by 3 points like 2 days later.
I don't understand. It's very weird.
Because they're a weird team. Shelton is a weird team.
That makes you wonder if they were missing a player or something.
Shelton is a weird place also.
Yeah, that's too. Schmelton.
Well, we can...
Do we want to chat about this Aberdeen Monty game since I was there?
Yeah, let's do it on the other side of it. Let's take a break and then come back and chat about it.
I will see you on the other side. Sorry.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
So thank you to our sponsors, the law office. I was going to read a comment, and then I was like, I should thank our sponsors first. Come on, my guy. So thank you to our sponsors, the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz and the Spivey Realty Group, who I saw were hiring right now as well. They need an executive assistant. I think that's what the title is. They need an assistant for Kevin. Apparently Kevin needs an assistant.
Nice.
So if you want to work for them, and you need to have an iPhone. Like, I was looking at the job listing, and I was like, I can do these things. And then it was like, either has or willing to get an iPhone. And I was like, I'm out.
So let's like very briefly.
I'm not even willing to carry an iPhone someone else gets me.
Very briefly revisit what just happened before the break, because I said, let's take a break. And then I was going to say, let's take a break. And I was going to do like a slow segue.
Nope.
And then I said, let's take a break. And your eyes got really big and you panicked and you went, okay, break time. And then you left Andrew in a bad spot. And it took him like 2 full seconds to get the ad going. And I don't know what happened.
You said, why don't we do it on the other side?
Yeah.
And the panicked look in my face was, you triggered something in my head that went, that's a movie quote, and I'll see you on the other side. Of like somebody making an awkward
Was that
thing.
Bane? That sounded like Bane.
No. I mean, just now that sounded like Bane. But the movie quote, it was like somebody awkward trying to say like, I'll see you later or something, but they're like, or on the flip side, and instead they were just like, I'll see you on the other side. And it triggered it in my head, and I had to say it.
In I Love You, Man?
Is that what it was?
Paul Rudd says, all right, I'll see you there, or I'll see you another time. And then Jason Segel's character is like, I'm confused. Are you going to be there or not?
He's like, I haven't made up my mind yet.
Yes, exactly. That might have been the quote that I was thinking of, and I just twisted it with another one.
That's a good movie. Like,
which one is that?
It's called I Love You, Man.
I Love You, Man. I think I've watched part of it.
It's good. It's very inappropriate. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone under the age of 29.
Oh.
But it's good. It's a good
It's
movie.
PG-29, is it?
PG-29.
Wow.
Well, I have a high standard, so.
Wait, is that because of its appropriateness or its applicability?
Forrest says it's snowing again.
don't
Yes,
know.
it is dumping again, by the way.
I don't know, Andrew. It's a.
Is Forrest here? Is Forrest out in the woods? Do we need to help Forrest?
There is a forest.
It's a movie that, like, the basis of it is about an adult man who has a hard time making friends, and like it's really funny. But also,
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you want that?
Right.
Like,
Why
if
do you want friends?
Yeah.
Because not every introvert, like the three I'm with today, had people who just said, you don't get a choice, we're going to be your friend.
Yeah.
I feel like all three of you had that happen to you.
Yeah.
I'm the only
It's
extrovert in the room.
You have
Dramatic.
no idea how many people I've forced away. Just with general crotchetiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you forced away all the people who weren't dedicated enough. So,
Yeah. I
It's
really
probably
thought
better
you were
for
going
you.
to stop at dead. You forced away all the people who were not dead.
oh.
The real trick is being good enough to force away the dead ones, too.
Oh! Oh, the cat scared the crap out of me.
You know what, Daniel?
That is the first time one of your cats has ever, like, come near me.
I was just about to say.
They do weird things sometimes.
I was
like
about
that.
to
They'll
say,
jump in my lap occasionally and be like, "Oh no, never mind."
We're here every week.
Yeah.
When the cats were kittens, they were kind of friendly
Yeah.
towards me. But now it's like if they stop long enough for me to pet them once. That was like full-on cat jump in your lap. But also, I think the cat did it just to mess with you.
I think so.
Because it jumped out of your lap just as fast as
And
it
the
jumped
claws
in.
were out, too.
Whoa.
Yeah. William McGaffey says EVCO 2A has 4 teams in districts, and GSHL has 5.
2A has 6. He corrected himself.
Okay.
Last check.
Okay. Interesting. And then they have
2A
4.
has 6 teams in districts.
Dang, so it's a 10-team tourney. That's a big tournament. And then Francis says, I'm still only here as I'm oblivious to Shami's crotchetiness. Yes.
Well,
But
he
he's
doesn't-
also implying that you guys are friends.
He talks.
I'm just kidding.
Francis talks, but he doesn't listen. So it's really easy for him to not be driven away by my grumpiness because if I talk, he doesn't pay attention anyway.
That checks out.
Yeah,
He just hears mwah, 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 mwah.
It's
Dude
like a
sucks,
Charlie Brown.
mwah,
He
mwah,
doesn't
Yes.
hear anything.
yeah, it's a Charlie Brown teacher scenario. Like
Gotcha.
any adult in Charlie Brown. That's what I sound like to Francis.
That checks out. Pulling a semi back on the rails here. The Bobcat Montesano
What's
boys.
semeli?
Semeli.
My goal apparently today is to seize on every little thing. Whether it's Rob Burns or mispronouncing the word semi. It
Semeli.
doesn't make for a short show.
No,
Sorry,
it doesn't.
Courtney. That's my bad. I apologize. What were you saying?
Francis says so true, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to try and talk about the Aberdeen basketball game.
Yeah, let's do it.
So it was a game.
Well, that's
And it
about it, I
happened-
think. Should we move on to...
My dad says that you were able to push away the people who are almost dead, which still means a little alive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Was this a Princess Bride?
Yeah, mostly
reference?
dead.
Nice. I
Yes.
like it.
Okay. Where am I? The
Andrew's
the
house.
basketball game. Yes.
You're not at the basketball game.
Such a low scoring game. Gosh dang it. There's some stuff happened. People played well. Caden
Aberdeen
Grubb
won.
grabbed a lot of rebounds. Cusada scored a lot of points. Boom, done.
I think my big takeaway here, and you can maybe how about this? I will get us Semeli back on the rails. Daniel, my big takeaway from this was when Monty played Aberdeen the first time. By the way, both games were at Aberdeen. I'm not sure why. When Monty played Aberdeen the
Scheduling.
first time,
Because of the cancellation, apparently it was easier to find an open day that worked.
it's fine. It doesn't matter. It's not a far drive. I just didn't. Usually you split home and home, but
Yeah, I know. Monty apparently was like, no, it's easier to do it at your place.
that's fine.
It was weird.
Yeah, I don't care. Aberdeen has a nice facility. I like going there. Anyway,
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when Monty played Aberdeen the first time, Aberdeen hadn't played. They'd played like 3 games, and they hadn't played in over 3 weeks.
Right.
So Monty jumped out to like a 22-6 lead, and then that game sort of got closer overtime, and then Aberdeen got it within like 6, and then I think it ended up being about an 11-point game. But we came on immediately after, and I was like, these teams are going to play again at the end of the season, and I do not think this game was an accurate representation of who these teams are. And in that game, Monty looked like the team who had just come off of back-to-back 3 games in 4 days, weeks. And Aberdeen looked like a team who hadn't played very much.
Right.
But now, as they've gotten into the flow, and Aberdeen's playing a ton of games in January,
Yes.
they've kind of formed a little bit more into who they are as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually what Aberdeen is as a team, which is a bunch of guards who are great at ball pressure, is sort of Monty's weakness.
Yeah.
And so I think ultimately what we saw in this one, I think if you were to play 10 games between these two teams, they probably split, and they're really competitive. But I was not remotely surprised that Aberdeen came out and looked good in this game.
Right. And defensively, this was a defensive game for almost the whole game, except for the third quarter.
Yeah.
But it was 12-12 after the first quarter, very low scoring, and then even more low scoring in the second quarter. Aberdeen scored 10 points in the second quarter to Montesano's 6. Like, it was a very low scoring affair in the first half. And then in the third quarter, Quezada hit 2 threes. Riker Scott had 5 points. Gabe Matthews hit a 3. Luke Martin had 2 points. Isaac Garcia had 4 points. So, like, everybody was scoring. Xanto Rea hit a 3. I mean, it was like everybody chipped in and everybody was putting the ball in the hoop, and Monty was still kind of struggling. They ended up with 13 points in the quarter, but during that big run, like, there was a 14-0 run in the third quarter, and then it kind of went back and forth after that. And that gave them a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and they just kind of sustained or held on after that, because Monty ended up going on a 9-0 run when it was about 4-ish minutes left in the game, and Aberdeen really put a focus on, hey, let's not put up a quick shot. And so every possession went down to like 5 seconds on the shot clock. The problem was they didn't make any when they did that, because it was so different from how they normally play that they're like kind of out of sorts. Like, now what do we, okay, now we need to score, instead of like going and finding a good shot early, which is what they normally do, and play kind of fast run and gun. And they were like, oh, slow things down, waste the clock. And it was so counter to how they normally play that it really threw them off. But then they were able to get enough done down the stretch. Quezada hit 2 free throws to kind of ice it. Garcia had 3 points, and Scott hit a free throw towards the end of the game too. So they were able to hold off Monty. The interesting thing is, there's points where you watch this Monty team, and you're like, these guys are awesome. And then there's other points where you're like, the round thing won't go in the round thing. And it's very weird, because the rest of the game, ball handling, rebounding, passing. I mean, they had a decent amount of turnovers, but Aberdeen does that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you do all the other things well, but the darn ball won't go through the hoop during these stretches. And so it was really hard to watch that happen. But they did also, I mean, they struggled with turnovers. Aberdeen forced 21 turnovers in this game from Monty. So that was the big difference. And that was the equalizer, because Monty out-rebounded Aberdeen 28-18, which you would kind of expect. And I actually...
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference, but they had 21 turnovers to Aberdeen's 10.
Yeah.
And Aberdeen had 4 in the fourth quarter when they were kind of like trying to play slow, and they ended up messing things up a couple times. I'm going to give a lot of credit to Luke Martin, especially in the first 3 quarters before he fouled out, of just putting in the grinding work of trying to keep Caden Grubb off the glass. Like, it was, he started, and I was like, oh, Luke's starting. Nice. And his mission was, don't let Caden Grubb rebound the ball. That's what it felt like. And he did a great job. And I know this is weird. I know this is weird to say, but he was a big part in holding Caden Grubb to only 12 rebounds. That sounds weird.
It does sound weird.
But if he wouldn't have fouled out, who knows? He might have held him to 9. It's crazy how good Caden is at rebounding. Yeah. And also how how big that is to Monty's offense when they're not scoring. It's Caden grabbing an offensive board and going back up with it.
Yeah.
And if you keep him off the glass, it really impacts their overall offensive production. And so I thought Luke did a great job with that. And then they also threw, when Luke was in foul trouble, they were like, hey, Gabe Matthews, you're also not as tall or jump as high, but you go try and do it. Or Conan Kelly went in there and did the same thing. And all of their missions was to try and keep him off the glass. Jaden Gladson was out with an injury. So he didn't play. He would have been another person I'm sure they would have thrown at him as well. But the guard play, just the absolute peskiness of Xanto Rea constantly. My favorite part, Justin, about watching somebody cover like a defender like Xanto is when they don't. My favorite part is when they have the best player to go and match up against.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they were like, hey, Tarek Gunter's good. You cover him. But Monty's best player is a post player. I would think Caden is kind of developed in, or Mason.
Yeah.
But they're
Mason's
both like
kind of a wing that's really springy and good in the paint.
And they're both tall.
Yeah.
So Xanto, not really a great matchup for.
Xanto about 5'10", 5'9".
You might be generous there.
Okay.
I would say
Because I
he's
think
probably
Caden,
5'8".
I think Caden's 6'3" and Mason's probably 6'2".
Yeah. In
Like,
fact,
these are tall.
there was a point where Xanto, after a switch, found himself on Mason, and Mason went and posted up, and Xanto did everything he possibly could, and Mason just.
I mean, giving up at least 5 inches.
And
to a
he
guy.
just made a jumper, and I was like, "There's not much he could do." Mason's just really tall and was 4 feet away from the basket, but since there wasn't anybody like forcing Xanto to need to cover somebody specifically, he ended up just covering the point guard every time. So like sometimes Tarek would be like, no, Colton, you take the ball up the floor. And Xanto was like, fine, I'll pester you the whole way down. And then the next possession, Tarek would take the ball up the floor. And it was like, dang it, I can't get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
No matter who's bringing the ball up. And he was just in their face constantly.
And it makes sense because ball pressure to the guards has been a weakness for Monty.
Yeah.
Like guys bringing the ball up the floor. If you pressure them on the perimeter or while they're bringing the ball up the floor, that's been a struggle for them.
Yeah. And then that plays perfectly into how Isaac Garcia plays the passing lanes, how Riker Scott plays the passing lanes, how Qzada, they all love to jump those passing lanes. And if you have a point guard who's pressured and just feeling pestered constantly, you're going to make some bad decisions passing the ball, and it leads to a lot of turnovers. Anyway, you already know that Xanto is my favorite player, so
Yes.
I must admit that I'm just gushing a little bit here, but he's so much fun to watch.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because one thing. I watched Xanto play one time this year.
Yeah.
And said, that's going to be Daniel's favorite player.
You nailed it.
And also, I was texting with a friend of mine about the Aberdeen game, and I said, literally, you should hear Daniel talk about Xanto. He gushes over him. And so you just literally said you were gushing. Like,
Yes.
that is, I know that's how you feel about him as a player.
Yep, absolutely.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so good at what he does.
Yeah.
And I think the added element, like he was a great defensive player last year too, but this year he's added some offense. Like he's shooting. He scored 17 points in one game.
It's huge.
And he can knock down threes.
Yep.
Like he's become a really important player for this Bobcat team.
Absolutely. And then Isaac Garcia rebounding is huge for them.
He does a little bit of everything.
He jumps so well.
Yeah, he's
And
super athletic.
He grabbed 5 boards.
Is he a junior?
Yeah, all those kids are juniors. Yeah, let's see. Riker, Xanto.
I think Qzada's a senior, right?
Nope, Qzada's a junior.
Qzada's a junior?
I think the only seniors are Taryn's a senior.
Yeah.
And is O'Brien a senior?
I'm not sure about that.
I think they might have 2 or 3 seniors. I know Taryn's one of them. And Taryn wasn't there. So that's another guy.
There's been a lot of guys out with illness.
So I think Taryn's another guy who would have been like, hey, you're on Caden. That's weird that I didn't notice that Taryn wasn't there until just now.
That is weird.
Like, he's usually a starter for him. That's
actually
bad job by me there.
It is
Jeez.
weird, but also at the same time, like what have we been saying about Aberdeen from the beginning of the year? They have like a dozen guys they can throw at you.
Exactly.
So sometimes even if it's one of their best players, if one guy isn't there, it's not always going to be super noticeable.
Right. Exactly. Riker had a good game. Isaac had a good game, and Qzada shot like Huzada normally does. So that was the
You
big
would have
thing for
noticed
them.
if Zanto wasn't there, though.
Yes, I would have. Of course I would have. He's my favorite player. A couple of comments. Francis says, does Gabe Matthews have a band? Dude, every time I broadcast a game and I say Gabe Matthews, it is painful, literally physically painful for me to not say the Gabe Matthews Band. He even hit a 3 in this one, and I really wanted to be like, Gabe Matthews and his band for 3. But I didn't say it. Didn't say it.
He says Rod Burns is a roadie for that band.
100%.
FYI.
Nailed it.
Good. FYI, yeah, the official roster on Max Preps has Taron Lewis and Patrick O'Brien listed as the only seniors for Aberdeen.
That's what I was assuming is.
Oh,
those
wait, hold
two.
on. Legend Vesey.
Legend, yes.
Has he been
but
playing?
He stopped playing partway through the season.
Okay.
Decided not to play anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, those were the only seniors
Gotcha.
on the team. So almost all of these guys are coming back.
I'm going to feel really dumb here.
They
What's
just need
the
a tall
reference
kid.
for the Gabe Matthews Band?
Dave Matthews Band?
What is that?
You don't know what the Dave Matthews Band is?
Yeah.
I don't know any of their songs. Like, I'm sure if they played a song, I'd be like, oh, that's them. All I know is that they're a big thing. The
Okay.
Dave Matthews Band.
In the office,
Yes.
when they're at the skating rink, Andy Bernard
Yeah. Sounds like something he'd do.
tells the DJ, Dave Matthews Band, no hits, only deep cuts. And then they start playing a song. Okay, I know who Dave Matthews Band is.
And you've never heard of the song? And did he go
it
like
goes,
I said only?
"Da-da, da-da-da."
Wait, was it? It wasn't a Dave Matthews Band song that was the whole Russell Wilson thing, was it? Or was that Fish? It was some band that is apparently really popular that I don't really know any of their songs to.
But Dave Matthews Band is a band I should know.
I think so.
Okay.
It's a band that I
It's a
know the
band
name
that
of.
You should know the name of.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of jokes about them.
Why didn't he name his band a band name? Like, isn't that kind of weird? Like Dave Matthews Band? Like, it's sort of arrogant.
I
Like,
think most artists like that just leave the band off. Because all of these guys play with bands, right? Like Blake Shelton. He's just the front man of a band.
what is a Blake Shelton? Just kidding.
Like, have you noticed that? Like, most they're like, it's just me. And it's like, at least Dave Matthews was like, hey, I've got a band back here.
I think it's a really narcissistic
my
way
band.
to name your band.
Right? Like, I'm the Blake Shelton band. Well, who are those guys playing behind you? No, I'm just Blake Shelton.
At least
well,
name
why do you
them-
have a drummer back there?
At least
I don't
give
care.
the band a name like the Pips.
Let's see. He also says Rod spends his free time separating the blues out of massive bags of peanut M&Ms for Gabe. And then he says Monty over the years has had trouble with strong pressure on the ball, or so I've been told. He was told by Tiggy. And then
What would Tiggy know about
then he
teams
said-
who don't have or who are struggle with ball pressure on guards?
And then he said Shami just demonstrated why it is that Angel does the singing.
What?
Yes.
Come on. What type of tobacco does Rod Burns use? Is he a chewing tobacco guy?
He is.
Is he smoking cigs?
He's Red Man 100%.
What is
Or
that?
Big Chief.
That sounded racist.
Just, it's like the brand of like actual tobacco, like
Oh,
chewing tobacco. Like
is it a
none of
chewing
that stuff in your the
Okay.
lip, like actual like chaw.
Not pouches.
Yeah. What's the line in Sandlot? Big Chief.
Big Chief.
The best. And then they all start throwing up.
Vomiting in a.
Yeah.
It's
But
the,
he not
it's
only
the scene of Sandlot that I fast forward through.
Yes, understandable. He not only chews Big Chief, but I bet he guts it. He just swallows.
Oh,
the
he just
spit.
swallows?
Yeah, 100%. Rod Burns.
So Rod Burns doesn't spit. He
Red
swallows.
Man long cut. My guy. That's what I was. Yep. There you go.
Really glad you talked over that last thing I said.
What did you say?
I'll tell you later.
Johanna says, "Don't have him say it again."
Yeah, she's right.
Not scrimmage after dark.
Oh. Okay. I'll have to ask you about it later. Johanna just said it's not scrimmage after dark, so you know it's sketchy. I think it's time to name an athlete of the week.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Aberdeen basketball game, kind of, but now we're going to talk about the athlete of the week. So, Justin, you're typing something, so I'm going to read off who our nominees are.
Okay.
We got Aaliyah Kennedy. who's taking after her older sister, is being snubbed multiple times. And she, in the Elma game, had 15 points, 18 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. The Tenino game, she had 14 points, 11 rebounds, 6 steals. And then she had 29 points across 2 league wins.
And then also, that's 29 points and 29 rebounds.
That's a lot.
Also, 11 steals
across
those games and 2 blocks in the Tenino game, or 2 in the Elma game. That game against Elma, when she had 5 steals and 2 blocks, that's the game that Elma went 0 for 38 from the field.
Yeah. And she plays awesome defense. Like, she's a huge part of defense. And Kiki Bull is probably someone she would have been matched up on. That's Elma's best player. So,
yeah, or Olivia Moore.
Either.
Yeah.
She would match up well against both of them.
Yeah.
We also have Isaac McGaffey and Trayden Carter. I feel like both of them have been in the running like a ton.
Yeah.
Have we?
McGaffey had an Athlete of the Week early in the year.
My dad says so much for a short show.
I don't know. We're still under an hour.
Well, we got our whole third period, and everybody knows our third period is our best period.
It depends on how much you want to complain about the Mariners.
Did you see? It's Madman season. It's the scrawlings of a madman.
So
they've begun.
McGaffey, in the Rainier win, had 19 points and 9 rebounds. Carter had 18 points and 7. And then in the Hoquiam win, which was really important because that solidified the pecking order in the Evergreen 1A League, where Elma's 3rd and Hoquiam's 4th. Not only did McGaffey have 23 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks, and Trayden Carter had 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists, but the Daily World article said that they teamed up to stop Lincoln Nemi, and I talked to someone who was at the game, and it was more like a primary Isaac McGaffey. Sources.
Anonymous sources say
that primarily Isaac McGaffey was the defender.
I think one of those sources, somebody was about to say something and just retracted a comment.
Oh, who is it?
It was Chase.
Oh.
Somebody said something. Chase retracted something.
Yeah, so they did team up to do it, but it was more like McGaffey was the primary defender, and there were some switches in the defense that led to Carter guarding him at times too.
He said that Elma Hoquiam girls game should be scrubbed from existence. I feel you, my guy.
It is wild. Like, I never want to focus on the negative.
Right.
Going 0 for 38 from the field is wild. Yeah. And it doesn't happen without a phenomenal defensive performance, which is why I almost didn't say it. Almost didn't put it in with the info, but I felt like it's not just saying that Elma did a bad job. It's, wow, look at what a great job defensively Hoquiam did.
Yeah.
Also, the idea that Hoquiam did a great job defensively doesn't surprise me at all. Like, that team, I am so excited about what that team's going to be over the next few years.
Yep.
Because we've also heard they have good talent in the 8th grade ranks. Most of the players that they have who are contributing at a high level are freshmen and sophomores. They have a couple of juniors who are really good too. They're only losing 2 seniors who play. And this year's team is good enough that they're fun to watch and exciting. But what's going to happen over the next few years, extra exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they only have 2 seniors as well on there.
It's Caitlin Broadhead
and Nadine Stewart. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I have a way I'm leaning in, at least.
I want to hear your leaning.
So, all right, I got a couple. There's disclaimers involved in this because.
Are you going completely off the board?
No.
Just going to pick a name that we haven't heard?
No.
Okay.
That'd
be wild.
2 of these people
Xanto Rhea
on this list.
Can I nominate Xanto Rhea?
They're all super deserving, and like just on merit, I might take McGaffey.
Okay. Yeah, he's had a.
But I'm really nervous that we're gonna do to Aaliyah Kennedy what we did to Chloe.
Yeah.
Her older sister, which was like she was the ultimate snub.
Yes.
She was great.
Her and Trace Ridgeway.
And got. And on a smaller level, Isaiah Pierce.
Yeah, I remember that.
Chloe, we were going to name the snub of the week or snub award after her because we snubbed her so many times. And Aaliyah has been phenomenal this year as a freshman. Only going to get better.
Yeah.
So McGaffey has been Athlete of the Week, and if I feel really similarly about these two, McGaffey's been Athlete of the Week and Aaliyah Kennedy hasn't. Traden hasn't been Athlete of the Week
I was just gonna
during
check that.
during basketball season, but he was during football season.
Okay.
So maybe I'm doing some unfair math here, and you can tell me if my biases are showing, because Monty guy. But I like the Elma guys. I root for them whenever they're not. I root for the Elma teams whenever they're not playing against a local team.
Right.
Also, but there's a part of me that's like, there's been 3 times probably this basketball season where we could have given Aaliyah Kennedy Athlete of the Week, and she got passed over for somebody who did something great, like Teander last week. So I would probably lean Aaliyah Kennedy with a nod to Isaac and Traden.
Yeah. That's where I was leaning too, but I wanted you to say it first because Hoquiam guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Aaliyah Kennedy.
She got a lot of basketball ahead of her, man.
Yes.
But like I watched her in a game where they played against Monty. She probably played 10 minutes because of foul trouble. But when she was in the game, she was so dominant in the paint. She's a little raw, but her natural ability, her strength, her just a knack for finding the ball is really incredible. So yeah, I'd go, if you're good with it, I'm good with just going Aaliyah Kennedy for Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, I am as well. You want to read off her stats? I'm looking up something else.
Yeah, so across 2 games, she had 29 points, 29 rebounds, 11 steals, and then in the Tenino game, she also added 2 blocks. So for Hoquiam girls basketball, who is resurgent after some tough times, Chad Allen with this young talent has really done a great job getting this Hoquiam girls basketball program back. They're going to be awesome, and we're super pumped for what they're going to do the next few years. Aaliyah Kennedy from Hoquiam girls basketball, you are our Spivey Athlete of the Week.
Congratulations. And also I was saying that look out for those girls in track too.
Yeah,
remember
they're
the ones who are going to like national events for their age group and cleaning up with their relays and stuff.
And she runs with Renasia Burtonshaw,
and I think Avery Broadhead is in there, and then relays usually have 4 people, and I'm blanking on who
I can't remember who the other one is. But
Yeah.
if you watch Renasia play, which I know you have,
yeah,
she is incredibly explosive,
Yes.
athletic, super fast. She got like a little bit of footwork issues to fix, but her hands are incredible. So fast. She gives people tons of problems on defense. And also, if she gets a steal, the fast break is like she's gone in the blink of an eye.
yes.
So I think she's going to be also a huge part of what Hoquiam does. But also Lexi LeBounty, sophomore for that Hoquiam team, really good.
Is she only a sophomore?
Junior.
Oh, yeah, junior.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so there's next year's team also. And this year's team is exciting enough. Next year's team, as these girls have a chance to develop together with how little they're going to lose, and I don't want to diminish the contributions of Nadine Stewart and Caitlin Broadhead.
Right.
But, yeah, Broadhead also,
It's
great.
just the fact that they're only losing 2 players.
Broadhead,
Yeah.
great defensive player.
Right.
Great. So, yeah, that's it. I feel weirdly more excited about Hoquiam girls basketball than I do about like almost any of the other teams on the Harbor, and there's so much good young talent.
Yeah.
But I don't want to put undue pressure on anybody, but like 2 years from now, is Hoquiam girls basketball going to be like a state caliber basketball team?
I hope so.
Are they going to be making a push for a trophy? That would be
sick.
so cool. And I
That'd be
think
awesome.
they have the talent and athleticism to do it.
William McGaffey says your bias is showing. Nick
Am I
hopped on
still-
and said, Nick says, Daniel, you got Walter White as your guest host.
Is this because I didn't wear a hat today?
Apparently.
Like, I'm always either bald or completely almost bald.
It's
like,
because you didn't wear a hat.
It's because I didn't wear a hat.
Chase says the cope is strong with this one.
I'm like Walter White without the meth.
Without the math?
Without the meth.
Oh.
Also, no math.
I think it's time for us to take a break so we can get to the real meat and potatoes, the real part of our show that everybody cares about, because we are a hockey show and we need to get to the third period. Dang it. Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and community. Their goal is simple: get a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate. Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz and Spivey Realty Group, the sponsor of our Spivey Athlete of the Week. Taking a peek out the window, the snow was strong for a bit, but it has calmed down a little bit more, so things are looking promising that I might make it home today. I think so. I think we'll make it
You'll
home.
be fine.
Couple of comments. Francis says, "Who's Walter White?" And then Nick says, "Civil War II on Friday." He's talking about R.A. Long and Mark Morris, which was a heck of a game last time. Both those teams are awesome, but we don't really care because they're in Longview.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Who goes to Longview?
I want to know what the spread is on that.
Yeah, what is the spread?
Yeah, what's the spread, Nick?
Yeah, what's the spread, Nick?
Where are we betting?
Yeah,
Hashtag don't bet on high school
yeah,
sports.
Don't bet on high school sports, Nick.
Definitely would not have bet the under one field goal made in that one game, but
So weird.
Would've
Dude.
been a loser.
Bad.
Yeah, it's now the obvious hockey portion of our show where we don't talk about hockey, but it's the third period, and we're gonna get it going with the 2-minute drill.
Let's go, hurry up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball around. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
Justin, your North Carolina Tar Heels got smoked by
That was real
Dukeness
bad.
yesterday. Oh, man, what's the deal? Is Carolina a tourney team this year? What's going on?
They're gonna basically have to go 8-1 probably down the stretch, and
Uh-oh.
they sort of need to beat Duke when they play them at Chapel Hill.
Uh-oh.
I think it's not looking good. If they're a tourney team, they're gonna be on the bubble and probably one of those last 4 in. The Duke North Carolina game from yesterday is an example of what it's like when a team has 5 inches on you at every position and they're not giving up much athleticism. So Duke doesn't have a player under 6'6" on the floor at
my gosh.
most points, and North Carolina has like maybe 3 guys that can compete with that size-wise. And Duke, as much as it dismays me, this Duke team is really gosh darn good, and this North Carolina team is undersized, really flawed, and they're not a bad team, but they're not a good enough team to like be upset if they don't make the tournament. So we'll see.
We'll
if
see.
5 inches in all positions is a big enough deficit to keep them out of the tournament.
Sounds like a Linden Christian team. I've always kind of pictured Duke as like the college Linden Christian.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have a guy named Knipple.
And Flag.
Yeah,
Cooper Flag.
I hate that guy.
Yeah.
The Seattle Mariners reportedly are done with offseason moves now after signing Jorge Polanco this week. Daniel, are the scrawlings of a madman shaping up? Are the M's going to be any good this year?
They need bounce backs from half of their roster, new career highs from the other half, and another miracle of miracles, healthy season from the starting rotation. I am so freaking pissed off that they're just like, yeah, we're done. We're not going to try and help it. There's still good players out there that they could sign.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're done. We're good. This team's going to be good. Like, the fact that you have one organization in Seattle for over a decade and won a Super Bowl, and their mantra was always compete. And then right across the street, it's, we're done competing for now. We're good. We're okay. We're not going to try and make the team better. Melts my brain. In a blockbuster NBA trade, this doesn't make any sense. Like, the Dallas Mavericks sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and a half bag of Fritos and a lukewarm Coke. Justin, what's going on? This doesn't, like, this makes me think of like a conspiracy theory, like the NBA was like, no, this is happening. We need ratings. What is going on?
Well, the forward-facing Mavs opinion put out by their GM has been, hey, we wanted to build a defensive roster. They also put a voice to the fact that Luka Doncic is going to be available. He's going to be eligible for a supermax, and we're going to pay him, and then also he'd be 1 year away from being able to go to another team if he wanted to. So rather than spend a turbulent summer figuring out if we're going to sign him to the supermax deal or if he's going to go elsewhere, they decided, let's do what we can to create the kind of team that we want to defensively and deal him now. It's going to cost Luka at least $100 million because now he's no longer eligible.
Yeah, I'm sure he won't make that up.
He will in LA.
Yeah.
He will make it up in LA. I think from a Mavericks perspective, it's kind of a punt. Like they were like, hey, we got Kyrie, we got Luka. Look at how this works out. They're in the 8 spot right now, and they're like, we need to do something different. Let's build the roster differently.
With an old guy.
It's really weird, but they presented it in a way that they're like, look at this positive thing we're doing to build for the future. And really what they did was just let a superstar go. Sort of a wild decision.
Sort of. Also, will Luka and LeBron even be good together? I don't know.
How? The Super Bowl is, that's the football game we were trying to come up with. The Super Bowl is 1 week away, but nobody seems to be looking forward to it. Daniel, could this be the least anticipated Super Bowl of our lifetimes?
Did you know that Dallas backwards is salad? And you would need a Super Bowl to have a good salad. Does that answer your question?
Yes. You nailed it. That's it. 2 minutes is over.
I can't get over this Luka trade, man. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, part of the thing is,
we want to get better at defense. What NBA franchise has said that in the last 15 years?
I was regurgitating.
How would they do that using NBA players?
That's a good point. That's a very good point, Andrew.
Seriously.
I was regurgitating what the front office of the Mavs were saying, which is, hey, we want to build a defensive team. We bring in an all-NBA defensive guy to be our center. We already have Kyrie. Let's build from the inside out, move forward with that.
Because Kyrie's the one you want to keep in that situation.
Isn't it weird?
Between him and Luka, we're going to keep Kyrie Irving.
Well, Kyrie would not have been able to draw Anthony Davis, which I think would be the argument there.
Right.
Like, if you were like, oh, we're going to deal Kyrie, you're not getting anything close to Anthony Davis in return.
What? It's not like Anthony Davis has been a world beater the last, 3 years?
I feel like...
And my dad said, isn't he hurt? Isn't Anthony Davis hurt,
both
too?
Both are. Luka's also hurt.
Goodness gracious.
I feel like the Mavs went, wait a minute. Luka is James Harden.
Ouch.
So what
You got to remember,
happened-
James Harden is also crazy.
True.
So
I'm not saying that I think that. I think that the Mavs went, okay, Luka is James Harden. From a usage rate and statistically, a lot of it matches up.
yeah.
And they're like, are we going to win with that? Look at where we are now. We tried to build the roster a certain way.
Yeah.
Let's try to build something different. And if Luka is James Harden, do we want to pay him this $240 million super max
Right.
salary, which would totally hamstring them from being able to build a team around him? And so I think it was as much of a financial / cap value decision as it was a straight up player decision. Because honestly, player for player, Luka, Anthony Davis, and there was a first round pick and some other scraps thrown in there, but that doesn't make any sense at
I
all.
don't know, man. I just think Mark Cuban has just had a really bad year. Yeah. And it's just gotten worse.
It's weird.
He's been wrong about so many things.
Isn't it weird for the Lakers too? LeBron is kind of he's not quite the physical specimen he used to be.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much he's averaging 10 assists a game. If LeBron has one of the highest usage rates of his career, how does Luka fit into that? I don't know. Does Luka become the primary guy and LeBron steps off ball? Do they take turns? Because that's kind of what Luka and Kyrie were doing.
Yeah.
I don't know how this necessarily makes the Lakers way better, but I do know that the reports were that LeBron had been frustrated with AD and that the Lakers knew our window is short and we need to do something big and
I would have
different.
traded LeBron at this point because LeBron's been basically the GM there for like 5 years, and he keeps then getting frustrated with the players that he brought in. I'd be like, you know what? Go GM another team. We're going to trade you for Luka. Like, this is getting ridiculous at this point. Like, he keeps blaming everybody around him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the inner workings of how much influence LeBron has now compared to what he did with Cleveland, because I think it was pretty well documented when he was in Cleveland the last time that he basically rebuilt the roster himself.
Right.
But all the reports were more recently over the last few years that LeBron has gone, wow, that didn't work. I'm going to be more hands-off. Whether that's true or not is the question. I don't know, but I do know that he at the very least identified, I don't like the public perception of me being in charge of the team, and I'm going to try to change it.
Nick says, dumbest trade ever. Francis says, Dallas isn't giving max to an injury-prone defensive liability. That's just silly. Chase says, top 3 player in the NBA is better than aging career underachiever.
Which is, he's talking about AD as an aging career underachiever.
I think so, yeah.
That's I agree with him.
Yeah. And then Daniel says,
even though he's from Elma.
Yeah. Daniel Gross says, ha ha ha, so true about Mark Cuban. I threw that in there almost specifically for Daniel, except for I didn't know you were watching, but I thought you might. Francis says, Luka is there to mentor Bronny when dad becomes GM. That's funny.
There's not enough money.
Nick from N2 says R.A. Long -6.
-6, yeah. I think I'm taking.
Wow,
ooh,
6
6
seems
is
high. That's a lot of points. I might.
High spread.
Is that game at Mark Morris?
Hashtag don't bet on college or on high school sports.
I might take R.A. Long in the points there.
Ooh.
That's a tough Lumberjacks team.
They're good, but Mark Morris, that's a tough spread. That's a solid spread, Nick. Solid spread there. Here's my thing. There are so few players in the NBA that when you have them on your team, you can say, hey, this guy's the part of a championship team. And I think Luka Doncic is one of those players. And I think it's about finding the group that you can put around them to work. And you just got to keep reshuffling until you figure it out. Because sometimes you have it. Kristaps Porzingis, who fit pretty well but got hurt a lot. You know, and so you got to keep moving it around. It's like when Damian Lillard was with the Blazers. You're going to tell me that it was Damian Lillard's fault? What is that sound?
What is that sound?
Like there's a crackling. It sounds like something's boiling.
Oh, you moved the candle and it got better.
Now it's there again. Huh, what is going on?
Oh, well. Sorry, I distracted
Andrew's
you.
Stomach gurgling? Like, what's going on? Anyway, yeah, that's the frustrating part to me.
It's the candle.
And it's also the only reason why it's really frustrating to me, though, Justin.
Yeah.
I like Luka Doncic, and now I can't root for Luka Doncic anymore.
Oh no, that's so sad.
Yeah, that's the only reason why.
Let's
I'm
talk
upset.
about the Mariners. I specifically
great.
would really like to know what Andrew thinks about what the Mariners have done.
Oh,
I don't.
Hey,
I
Andrew.
just have no feelings.
Are you
I
just
don't really
feeling
care.
whelmed?
I'm more excited for the Diamondbacks.
What have the Diamondbacks done then?
I don't know. but
Exactly. So shut up. You're not actually, Andrew. Stop saying you're excited about the Diamondbacks when you haven't actually paid attention to
I
them.
didn't say that I was excited about the Diamondbacks.
You just said I'm more excited about the Diamondbacks.
Exactly.
More excited about them.
That means you're some excited.
No,
unless
it could
you're
mean
negative
he's
excited about both teams.
100 negative excited about the Mariners. Only 80 negative excited about the Diamondbacks. He's right. He's right about this.
In all honesty, I don't actually care at all about the Diamondbacks, and I still am more excited about the Diamondbacks than I am about the Mariners. Like, they've done nothing. They literally have gone, well, we've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
I'm so upset.
Like, am I going to pay attention? Yes. Am I excited at all? No, I'm not. I don't expect anything other than another mediocre season that will miss the playoffs by between 1 and 5 games.
Yep.
Again.
I feel like they're going to be worse. I feel like they're going to be bad.
If
Like, I
they
feel
were
like
bad,
when we get to the-
I would be more excited. I
not-
don't think they'll be bad. I think they'll be exactly as mediocre as they aim to
Okay, let me
be.
tell you what I'm predicting, Andrew,
Okay,
and I
I'm
want you to
sorry.
react to this. I would like your reaction to this. I think they will be the perfectly worst amount of bad, where they're not one of the handful of worst teams in the MLB, but we will have no delusions at any point during the Major League Baseball season that they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
They're going to be bad, but not one of the worst teams.
Okay, I will
Which
tell
doesn't
you.
even matter that much in
I
baseball.
would
That's true.
still prefer that to what I expect. Because if that happened, there would be a lot more teeth in the calls for firing people, etc.
Right.
But instead, what I expect is that once again, we'll just be right there, almost made it. We feel like we got a good team, and we're just gonna keep doing the thing we do.
But they've gotten it to the point where, like, now, even if they do that, we're not going to get excited. Like, they're going to be a point where
we absolutely won't. But they'll still say the same thing.
Daniel made a good point too, though, which is that, like, being one of the bottom handful of teams in baseball doesn't. It's not like football where you tank
Yeah.
or basketball where you're trying to get that, like,
Yeah.
generational talent. Being one of the worst baseball teams doesn't really matter quite as much. It's
Yeah.
just bad.
Yeah, it's just bad.
Yeah.
The problem is say they're bad enough to fire somebody. Do we really
No,
think that it's
you're right.
Do we really think that it's Jerry DePoto's actual fault that they're this bad?
Well, he is
I
a
think
liar.
we're
Like all front office guys.
true.
You could fire him and get in another liar.
Yeah. But it's still going to be a liar with a budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the
Maybe
problem is with ownership.
how bad
the
do
fact
they
that they
need-
have a $15 million budget this year is absolutely insane, and it's somebody who doesn't know that you have to spend money to make money.
So-
except for they are still making money, which is bonkers because
I
they
wanna
just
push
keep
back
raising
a
the
little bit
prices
on
on
that.
everything.
And I don't. I want to push back a little bit, and it isn't because this is something I believe. It's more something that I like hope.
Okay.
But how possible is it that Jerry lies up as much as he does down? And he's telling ownership, no, I can do this. Yeah, this is reasonable. He's too much of a yes man. And that we could maybe hope for if someone was hired who was like, no, this is what I need to be successful. You need to give me the things I need to be successful, or I'll go to the media and be like, yeah, I won't be successful because I'm not being allowed to be successful. You don't want that, do you? That sort if
That's a
Jerry
good
were
point.
fired, that's what I would hope for. I would hope hey, maybe somebody can come in who will try to argue for more rather than Jerry appears to think this is all great.
That's a great point. I don't see this ownership as the type of ownership that would hire somebody like that.
Does that guy exist?
Entirely reasonable.
Does someone who would do that exist?
I think so. If you're like,
Some
Hey.
of those old school baseball guys are, I mean, they at least have the persona of
Hire
being
Daniel Hargrove.
tell the truth, don't care about your feelings type guys.
yeah,
What if the Mariners are watching right now?
They're not.
And I say,
which Mariners ownership?
What if
Sell the team. Who's next? Jerry DePoto?
No, stop. Wait. No.
Spend money anyway.
Sherman.
What?
What's his first name?
Sherman?
Wait.
Sherman.
What's the owner's name? Gordon. Smith. Jones. Jameson. What's the owner's name? Andrew, help me out here.
I'm drawing
Gosh
a
dang
blank.
it. I'm drawing a blank too. That's why I laughed so long.
It's funny because you called us on a very obvious thing that we
Yes.
should know.
My dad said they should hire Dusty Baker. He would do it.
Something like that. Maybe Dusty Baker.
He'd be like,
is
Dusty Baker would be like, not only Do I need more money? But I need to be able to cheat too. Oh,
Hey
wait, no.
Siri, who's the Seattle Mariners owner?
It's
Come on, Andrew. You already had it.
Stanton.
John Stanton.
Daniel, John Stanton is watching right now.
You're an idiot.
No, stop! I'm
Sorry.
trying to get you hired.
Okay, sorry.
John Stanton is
You're
watching.
an idiot.
Stop.
Chase wants to hear us talk about Duke UNC more.
You know
so-
what, Chase?
You know what? Justin talking about this North Carolina team made me I felt so aligned with him because the majority of my Oregon State Beavers fanhood, when I look at their basketball standings, is, well, maybe if we go 8-1, we might make it into the tournament this year. Well, we still have the Pac-12 tournament. If we win that, yes, we are the last seed, but if we win that, we have to get to the tournament.
But we haven't lost a game yet in the Pac-12 tourney, and we could win every single one.
What if we won it all? Yeah.
But what if we did?
So, John Stanton, what do you...
John Stanton is watching right now.
You...
Stop it! Hey, John. If you want somebody who will shake up the status quo, if you want somebody who will shoot you straight, if you want somebody who's going to be honest, who knows baseball, will listen to the scouts,
Wait, what's the
follow
scout line?
some analytics, but also look at some old school just baseball scouting.
Yeah.
Daniel Hargrove should be your GM or executive of baseball operations.
You know why?
He might need some development on the business side of things, but he knows stuff.
I know stuff.
He knows baseball.
I know
And
baseball.
he could fix your team way better than the Marine Layer pod guys.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they don't believe in
Justin-
bunting.
Is Justin just trying to start more pod beef?
Dude, I'd be way better than the Marine
So
Layer.
much better, dude.
Dude.
The Marine Layer pod guys are freaking morons compared to you.
On the bunting thing, I feel like so many people are like just viscerally hate bunting.
Yeah.
And then it boils down to they don't like bunting when it isn't obvious bunting situations. But literally all that we're asking for is that we start practicing to bunt in obvious bunting situations.
There's no such thing
Exactly.
as a non-bunting situation. Every situation is a bunting situation.
Well,
They're like, no, never bunt. Well, except for obviously in this case you might want to
Yeah.
bunt. And Daniel and I are going, but they can't because they don't practice it because they freaking never bunt.
because people like you are saying never bunt.
So they
Bunting's
just
the stupidest
swing
thing.
for the
And my
fences.
favorite part is people like Two Plates Lyle on the Marine Layer podcast
Yeah.
go, these are professional hitters.
Yeah.
They should be able to hit. And
Yes.
it's like, they're facing professional pitchers, you jackwagon.
Marine Layer
What
pod.
do you think they're doing?
You've
Is that
been
like
called out.
Is that like a full year old grudge?
Yes.
I remember
Yes,
when
it
That
is.
was so long ago.
when
a
I
long time ago.
when I first discovered the Marine Layer pod, I got in our group chat and I was like, "Hey guys, have you guys checked out this Marine Layer pod? They do really cool stuff on Instagram." And Daniel was like, "I guess it's okay."
Which I've moved on a bit because, not gonna lie, when I was like looking up stuff to get ready for the show today, I watched like all of their videos.
They do. I don't know about their podcast. I've never listened to it, but they do really good stuff on social media.
their
They're
shorts are
excellent. Yeah.
awesome. Yes.
And I have a
not their,
very
like,
short attention span.
not like the shorts that Lyle wears when he goes to the Mariners games, which are extremely short.
How short?
Well, he's dubbed the name for Mariners players shorts,
Oh,
but they're like social media shorts.
so
like
he's
the
like
small
a beat
videos.
writer.
No,
No,
he's just
he's a podcaster.
he's a podcaster who has
New
grinded
media,
hard
bro.
enough
New
to get.
media, bro.
He has access.
He's got access. He does like player interviews.
What
and
do
crap.
we need to do?
We need to actually ask for
guys-
access
should we-
and then go.
Should we
That's
apply
all we
for
need to
access
do.
to the White House press corps?
Now would be our shot.
Yeah, that would be the,
Like-
this would be the
Like,
time.
we should probably apply for
New
that.
media is allowed now.
Yeah.
We don't live anywhere near DC though.
No.
I know. I feel like
We do live near to where the Mariners play.
Honestly, though, I like most of their stuff, especially their off-season stuff.
Yeah.
Basi-
You're Mariners out today.
I am. Birthday present right here.
That's dope. I like
Christmas
it.
present.
It looks
up
good. I
here.
like that sweatshirt. It looks like thin and not like overly warm.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's nice. It's kind of cozy. Got it at Marshall's last night.
Can I feel the inside?
Yeah, it might be a little warm for you.
Oh,
'cause
it's
that.
soft.
Yeah, it's very soft.
That's soft.
watched it once.
So, Scrawlings of a madman.
Yes.
Here is the Mariners starting lineup
Okay.
for you. Victor Robles.
Barf.
Leading off playing right field.
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez.
Okay.
Yeah, playing center. Randy Arozarena
Sucks.
playing left.
Just kidding. I like a Rosarina.
Cal Raleigh catching.
Okay, good. I like 2, 3,
They're-
4.
Their big sign, their big change of the offseason.
Jorge Polanco.
No. Donovan Solano.
I don't
Who's
even
like
know who
90
that-
years old.
I don't even know who that is.
He's a dude who's just... Remember that guy back in the day who you always tripped me up with like mid-2000s Mariners trivia who just hit? What was that guy's name? Like Fernando something or whatever.
You're talking about Jose Vidro?
Jose Vidro.
He only hit singles?
Yeah, this is the Jose Vidro of the last 10 years.
He only hit singles? Should he be batting second?
Maybe, but
I'm doing the old
You
school.
want
I'm
Julio
doing the old
Rodriguez-
school lineup thing again.
you want Julio to be as protected as possible.
Yeah.
And
I'm doing the thing where you still put players in the second spot who
Yeah.
get base hits and move runners
hey,
ahead.
Dan Wilson's the coach. He might be like right in line with you, where you put the guy who only hits singles. So Donovan Solano last year had 8 home runs, but he hit 286.
Okay.
So not much power. Like I said, he's 90 years old.
286 is
90 is old for the MLB.
Okay, so he's 37, but he's pretty old. He was their big offseason acquisition. Then after that, you got Luke Raley,
37. Is that Andrew? Are you 37?
yes.
Okay.
90 years old. Luke Raley playing first because that's one of the positions that there's a crap ton of free agents out there that you were just like, nah.
Where'd Evan White go? They trade him?
Probably.
Okay.
Then you got brand new third baseman Jorge Polanco, who apparently is a third baseman now.
Not new.
Brand new designated hitter Mitch Haniger, because I literally couldn't think of who else would be better when I was
Garver?
writing up this. Oh, he's my this is first as a right-handed pitcher. I threw Garver as the DH for a left-handed pitcher. Okay. They're both right-handed, so it doesn't really make much sense either way. But there's literally 2 guys on this squad right now who are like, I don't know, maybe you can DH. Nobody else really can. And then J.P. Crawford hitting 9th and playing shortstop.
So they're doing the thing again where they're like, we didn't want to spend $45 on a DH who would actually be a good hitter. Let's just use it as like a way to give guys a day off.
Evan White is with the Los Angeles Angels.
He
of
probably
Anaheim.
still sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, probably does. So,
Well, he's
I bet he's a really great defensive first baseman. Like, that's a thing.
bro, here's
I remember having that argument with Braden.
yeah. So here's their position players.
Okay.
At catcher, they have Cal Raleigh and Mitch Garver.
Does Mitch Garver actually play catcher?
He will this year if he wants to get paid.
Okay.
'Cause he's
Did
going
he
to be like
play-
the highest paid backup catcher in the universe.
Did he play catcher last year?
He played some at the end of the year last year
Okay.
when they're like, you need to stop DHing.
I really just don't remember him playing catcher,
Yeah.
to be honest. I know that he was a catcher,
Yeah.
but I don't remember it at all.
At first base, they have Luke Raley, who's an outfielder.
More like
and-
Nuke Rayleigh.
And maybe Donovan Solano and maybe Austin Shenton.
who?
Exactly. Exactly. My guy. Exactly. Andrew, can you look up the Mariners trade for Austin Shenton? Because they traded him to Tampa Bay a while
I feel
ago.
like you made that name up.
Trust me, I feel like I made up half this roster. At second base, again,
I'm disappointed.
I think
that you
Solano
didn't
will
bring
play-
the notepad that had
What
the
did
scroll.
you-
I,
wanna know about the trade?
I forgot about it. Who did we trade Shenton to the Rays for?
This is by Ryan Divish. Oh shoot, I'm sorry. It wasn't in the first. In early Tuesday evening, the Mariners announced they had acquired Shenton from the Rays in exchange for cash considerations.
Yes, but we originally traded him to the Rays. That's
Oh.
what I'm hoping for. So if you scroll down a little bit more, I'm hoping they'll say what the original deal it was.
We had him
Back
before.
in July
Yes.
29 of the 2021 season,
Yep, here we go.
roughly a few days after trading Kendall Graveman to the
Yes.
Astros for Joe Smith and Abraham Toro,
Yes, here we go.
DePoto made another move to supplement the bullpen.
Yes, he
trading
was Castilco.
Is it
The
Chargois?
Russian?
Chargois.
Chargois, who had signed as a minor league free agent that spring, and Shinton, one of the Mariners' better prospects, to the Rays for right-handed reliever Diego Castilco.
They traded
The
him for the Russian.
Yes.
That's Diego Castillo.
Who ended
In
up
case
sucking.
people
And now we have
weren't
800
listening
pitchers
back then.
named Castillo.
Yes. Both of them named
We
Luis.
have 2 Luis Castillos,
Yes.
and I desperately want Jerry DePoto to be calling up guys, like cold calling other GMs, and being like, hey, so we were thinking maybe we trade you Castillo for so-and-so. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, Luis Castillo.
Yeah, Luis Castillo, yeah.
No takesy backsies.
No takesy backsies.
Click. So you have, and then at second base you have Dylan Moore and Leo Rivas. Third base you've got, yeah, good question. Third base you have Jorge Polanco, and whoever isn't playing second base or third base maybe,
Jose Vidro.
or first base. And then at shortstop you have J.P. Crawford, and then Rivas backing him up. Maybe Dylan Moore. I don't know. In the outfield and left field, you have a Rosarena, Julio
I
Rodriguez,
like a Rosarena.
Robles, Haniger, and Rayleigh, who's also playing first base. Canzone is also somebody, but you can only have 26 people on the roster, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Hey, Allie Parkin
Yeah?
just posted that she committed to play softball at Lower Columbia.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Congratulations to Allie Parkin.
I mean, besides the fact that I hate Lower Columbia, they're a good program, so probably good for you to go down there. I just hated them because they beat us
They're
all the
called
time.
the Devils.
Yeah. The Devils.
The Red Devils.
Yep.
Allie Parkin, though. Absolute stud.
Yep, absolutely.
Catcher, rakes.
Chase says, bring back the steroids to MLB and it might be entertaining again. I got to tell you, we could use a juiced up Brett Boone right now. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, doesn't look good. The bullpen also, man, if they don't have like bounce backs or some sort of resurgence in the bullpen, that's a struggle because they also didn't add anybody really there. But I'm depressed. Their 2 offseason signings were Solano and Polanco.
Polanco
And
was here already.
Exactly. They just got him for cheaper.
Solano sounds like deli meat.
I could go for some Solano right now. I feel like it's got a nice like.
Let's slice up some Solano and have it with some smoked Gouda.
Yeah, it's got like some good oregano flavors mixed into it. It's depressing to be a Mariners fan. I can't wait till ownership sells the team, but I don't think that'll ever happen. So anyway, is it time for your favorite part of the show?
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because that certainly wasn't my favorite part.
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Francis wants to point out that Boone's brother is still in the league.
Yeah, that whiny punk.
I mean, will he be for long? I don't know if he's been that great as a Yankee.
Yeah, they go through coaches a lot. I'm sure
Daniel.
he'll get fired soon. Justin.
Stump Daniel is brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. Ignore Francis.
Okay.
He has no part in what we're doing now. Pretend he's not a person.
Okay. Wow.
Pretend he doesn't exist. Francis is a distant memory. I feel better somehow.
Bad dream.
Wow.
Like somehow all of a sudden I feel like really calm. It's weird. Interesting.
Wow.
Sorry, Francis.
Things got. Things took a turn. Whoa.
Love you, buddy. Daniel. Dallas Mavericks.
Salad.
How many Dallas Mavericks players do you think you could name now that they've traded Luka Doncic?
I think I can name the guy that they traded for him.
If you can name 5 players On the Dallas Mavericks.
On the Dallas Max.
Dang it, this is payback for what I did to you earlier. On the Dallas Mavericks current roster, if you can name 5 Beeve Zone, 4 Coug Zone,
Okay.
3 Husky Zone, 2 or less Duck Zone, or something that rhymes with Duck Zone.
Oh, Francis just sent a very unseemly emoji to our text thread.
I feel bad. Can I throw out the disclaimer that Francis actually is my friend and I love him?
I don't know if it counts anymore.
Do you really though?
I do.
Okay. I'm going to say Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is correct. You have 1. Can you name a second? You don't look at. Put your phone down.
Sorry,
You're typing.
I'm writing down your friend. Or your friend. I'm writing
Francis?
down your name.
Why?
I'm going to say Kyrie Irving.
Ding. You got 2. Okay, you're officially in the Duck Zone. So
I'm going to say... I think I'm just going to start throwing out like random first names with random last names.
really?
Because
Like you don't even have basketball players that you could name?
I guess I could do that too. Could do that too. But I feel like I might have better luck with random first names and random last names.
Okay, there's a Kentucky Wildcat alum
That
on here.
doesn't help.
Speaking of
That
Francis.
doesn't help me at all.
There's an Australian player who was supposed to be really good and ended up being only just kind of okay. Does that help?
Wait. Does Ben Simmons play for the Dallas now?
Is that an official guess?
Sure.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Who was an Australian player who was supposed to be really good?
Well, you'll find out at the end. If you
Okay, fine. Does Seth Curry still play there?
want. Seth Curry does not play there. You're 2 for 4. You got 1 more guess.
How about... I think this is... See, my strategy of naming basketball people has not worked. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure I
hold on.
should have just
Wait,
named a random
look.
first name, random last name, and my NBA Jam random creative player generator would have worked better.
Daniel, here's the thing.
Justin, here's the thing.
I really don't want you to be in the Duck Zone.
That would suck.
So that's a horrible place to be.
Wait, 2 is the Duck Zone? What's worse than the Duck Zone?
Well, it was 5. If you
Beeve.
get all 5, it's Beeve.
Yeah.
4, Coug.
Coug.
3, Husky. 2, Duck.
There's 2 Duck Zone spots?
You're at Duck right now.
Gross.
You're totally ducked.
I...
But if you get this one right, you can at least get the Husky Zone, and I want that for you. So would you like a huge hint, or do you want to do this on your own?
Chase says, if I were to hear every time Francis is brought up on this podcast without context, I would think you guys are mortal enemies. I would think not even mortal enemies. Mortal enemies, I guess, would be better.
Do you ever, is there anybody in your life that, you love them, but you also hate them?
Gosh dang it. Now I hate Francis, too. Just posted a gif of Mariano Rivera.
You love them, and you, genuinely enjoy the time you spend around them, but you're also repulsed by them, and you don't want to ever see them again?
Hannah's looking at you right now going, yep, I can think of somebody like that.
You know what? Just the fact that Hannah would think about me in the first way that I said that, it makes me feel better. I generally walk around in life thinking that people are repulsed by me. Daniel, so here, I can give you a hint that will help you get the third one. You will get it if I give you this hint.
As long as it keeps me out of the Duck Zone, my guy.
Andrew's favorite player. Andrew's favorite NBA player.
Klay Thompson plays for the Mavericks?
Klay Thompson plays for the
I didn't
Dallas
even know that.
When did that happen?
this year. Daniel, you're 3 for 5.
I'm so glad. That was
The fact
more
that
like...
Daniel didn't know that makes me feel completely okay with the fact that I didn't know that.
Dude, I'm just glad that I won trivia there because I knew who Andrew's favorite player was. I remembered that.
Can I read you what the Dallas rotation sounds like
Yes.
without Luka?
Oh my gosh.
Projected starting 5: Kyrie Irving,
Okay.
Klay Thompson,
Okay.
PJ Washington, Former
That guy's still in the league?
Yeah.
Former who?
Kentucky Wildcat.
Oh, okay.
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Someone named Daniel Gafford
Who?
would be their starting center. Key reserves. Max Christie. I don't know.
That's one of those like first name, last name, auto-generated name things.
Right.
Max Christie.
That's your NBA
Like you're-
2K auto-generated
You're
rookie.
playing NBA 2K and they're like, hey, why don't we just record some random names so the broadcaster can be like, and Max Christie 4-2.
Here's one you'll know the name,
Okay.
but didn't know he was in Dallas.
Okay.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
I kind of remember that name.
He played for the Nets. He's a
Yeah,
good player. He's
yeah.
a good player. Here's the Australian one. Dante Exum. So for people who played NBA 2K, there was an NBA 2K. I can't remember which one it was, but he was like supposed to be the rookie that was really good. So in the story mode, they made him part of story mode, and they hired him to like do a voice and stuff.
Gotcha.
Here's another one. Najee Marshall.
Okay, another
No,
name generator.
Dwight Powell.
Okay. Good
They
to know.
also have a guy named Brandon Williams. They also have a guy named Kessler Edwards.
I probably would have guessed Brandon Williams. Actually, I was going to
Did
guess Brandon
Williams,
Jones.
Did Brandon Williams play at Gonzaga? Or am I thinking of a different guy?
I don't know.
Oliver Maxence Prosper. Kessler Edwards.
Now, Kessler Edwards, my guy, is a...
Super auto-generated
Dude,
name.
what was his last name? Kessler Edwards?
Yeah.
Kessler Edwards. My guy plays for Linden Christian, and then he went to Duke.
Where did Kyler Kelly play?
Kyler Kelly? That's an R.A. Long lumberjack.
That's a R.A. Long. That's a lumberjack
Yeah,
name.
that's a
yeah,
lumberjack.
Kyler Kelly played at R.A.
Yeah.
Long. Anyway, that's going to conclude Stump Daniel, which is brought to you by the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. You were a failure, but you did not end up in the duck zone.
Thanks.
So congratulations.
Thanks to Andrew's favorite player.
Thank you, Andrew.
I appreciate
You saved
that.
the day.
Yep. That's going to do it for our show because I'm
Yeah.
still mad about the Mariners.
So for my co-host
And I
Daniel,
wear all their stuff.
Chase says if I were to hear every time Francis is brought up on the podcast without context, I would think you guys are mortal enemies.
Steve Martin also.
Andrew, also, I read that already, so I'm
sorry.
glad you listened to our show.
I don't.
The only person who got my Steve Martin also reference is Francis, which is proof that I care about him.
Gotcha. Francis then says, "Oh, Chase, we are enemies, and Shami isn't even from Elma."
Thank you. That's right. It started too early. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. And then Chase says, "This is why the Mavs gave up 90 first half points to the Cavs today." Holy moly. Icky. That's going to do it for our show today. It was 10 minutes shorter than normal?
Yeah.
It's blue outside.
You know what,
You're
Courtney?
Gonna get home safe.
We did a short show. So for my co-host Daniel, anything to get out of the duck zone, Hargrove.
And my co-host, Justin, Francis is my friend, really, Domashevitz.
Can we say friend-ish?
Yeah. we'll go with
Frenemy?
that. We'll do that.
I mean, definitely frenemy.
And our trusty producer, Andrew. I'm going to pull a Daniel Hargrove and not be able to think of a nickname. Gross.
Wow, throw me under the bus there. Jeez.
I like
That actually
that.
ended up being a good nickname.
I think it was a terrible
I thought the
nickname.
nickname was going to be me pulling a Daniel Hargrove.
Is pulling a Daniel Hargrove a bad thing?
What is this we're talking about?
Oh, let's pull a Daniel Hargrove and just end the show.
The Rod Burns Show.
The Rod Burns show.